you doing? Tom Stapleton here, Wakefield Community Access TV. And we're here for Rotary, doing a program. And the person to my right is going to introduce herself and explain a little bit about what we are going to do.
Hi, my name is Amy Luckowitz, and I am a 10-year member of the Wakefield Rotary Club.
There you go, 10 years. Wow, all right, that's very good. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about polio today.
Yes.
And things about polio that people may not know. First of all, how did Rotary become involved in polio eradication?
That's a great question because when you think of disease eradication, you probably don't think about Rotary, but actually we've got a long history. So the way it all started back in 1979, so the year I was born, there were a couple of clubs that got together in the Philippines, and they saw that a bunch of their children were suffering from polio. So they got together and worked to raise money to immunize 6 million children in the Philippines. And it was so successful that Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation picked up on the project. And so by 1985, they had done a worldwide launch of what's called Polio Plus. And the plus is because not only do we give vaccines for polio, they often also give children vitamins and things like that. And so it went worldwide in 1985. And by 1991, the last case of the wild polio virus had been seen in the Americas. And it's continued from there. We've had a great history. They said that India was going to be a terribly difficult country to eradicate polio. And that happened in just 2014. So a few years ago, polio has been eradicated from India. And just last year, Nigeria went a full year without a new case of polio. So 2 countries are left in the world, Pakistan and Afghanistan. We got to get those left because the children in those countries are suffering.
Certainly is an amazing feat for this to be done. But, you know, I have to think about the cost of something like this. I mean, this isn't a local thing. This is a worldwide thing.
Right.
How do you fund something like this?
Well, we've got amazing partners. So first of all, the cost of a polio vaccine for one child is just 60 cents. And we, drink that in our coffees multiple times over every day. And so the way that we fund it is through a lot of donations from Rotarians and everyday individuals, our neighbors, our parents, our friends, whoever we ask. But we've got an amazing financial partner in the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And so for the past several years, they've offered a 2-to-1 match. So for every $1 we raise, they match it another 2. Now, if you figure out the math, that means that for every $10 we raise, that actually pays for 50 kids to not get polio. Well worth it, right?
Right.
It's pretty amazing. The other costs go to things like vaccine carriers or identification for the vaccine workers, and also even for things so simple as markers. So in India, for example, when a child is vaccinated, they mark their pinky finger with a purple marker, and that's just to make sure that they don't miss anybody.
Now, doesn't this have to be refrigerated or something? Is that part of the cost? I mean, how do you manage to keep things so that it's okay to be used?
Yep. So 2 answers actually. For the majority of our vaccination movement, it's been with the live virus, which has to be kept cold, and that's why we have to pay for the vaccine carriers. They look like little coolers. However, there is a new vaccine that is being created that allows the vaccine to stay at a little bit warmer temperatures, and that's going to eliminate, hopefully, the cost of the carriers, which would be great.
So if polio is no longer a threat to the United States, why are Rotarians still working on it?
That's a great question, and I get asked that a lot of times when I go and talk to various donors or clubs about this, and it's because when we invest in polio eradication, we're actually investing in a global response system to communicable diseases. Things like Ebola, which is a threat to us just a few years ago. And specifically, that's a great example because when that happened, that last outbreak was in the southern part of Nigeria. And our polio center in Nigeria was at the middle part of the country. And what they did is they called our top polio workers and said, we need some help containing, this outbreak. And so they went down to the southern part of Nigeria, and it never made its way over here. And so what I like to tell people is an investment in this polio effort is actually an investment in all communicable diseases because it's teaching us how to keep any outbreak contained.
So what are the current challenges about something like this?
Number one is definitely security. And
Yeah.
so, as I mentioned, it's still going on in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and that is for a couple of reasons. So whenever possible, we use local workers to vaccinate the children. But there's some distrust going on there, and in the past there's been some communications in local communities that it's a Western way to sterilize children, and that's a terrible message.
Boy,
and
yeah.
So what's happened as a result of that fear is that our vaccine workers and our healthcare workers have been attacked. And only a couple months ago, there was a polio vaccination center, and I believe it was Pakistan, and a bomb went off out front, and 12 security officers were killed. And that was only about 2 or 3 months ago. And so I would love to tell you that if you donated $1 right now to polio, the whole dollar would go to a vaccine, but the truth is that some of that money has to go to protect the people that are administering the vaccine. So that's definitely the biggest threat going on to our vaccine programs. The other is the anti-vaccine movement.
Yeah.
Parents are scared of vaccines sometimes, and sometimes that's stopped people from getting their child vaccinated, and that's definitely a threat. Anytime that, what we like to say is that the threat of polio is always a plane ride away. We've had small outbreaks here in the United States since 1985, and it's because people here were not vaccinated.
Okay, so how do local Rotarians support this effort?
Well, there's really kind of two ways for us. So since obviously vaccine efforts are commonplace here, the first one is that we are allowed to go on what's called National Immunization Days and travel abroad and help actually physically vaccinate children. I've been to Honduras and given kids their vaccines before. But the biggest effort that we can do is raise awareness and funds. And so our club is really good about participating in the Polar Plunge. Every year we get a group together. We have the biggest team, thanks to you guys, and we jump into the cold water off of Gloucester and raise money to fight this disease.
I do remember doing that a while ago, and let me tell you, this time, this is my 5th time, this was probably the coldest and the
this year was
windiest. It was really brutal out there.
This year was rough.
Nobody stayed in that water too long.
Yeah, nobody did. It was so cold that we were trying to videotape a bunch of it, and the audio wasn't that great, I understand.
So that's a good way that local Rotarians can support this effort. So what else do you want to say about this?
Yeah, so the past just 2 years alone, we've raised almost $200,000.
Okay.
And then if you figure out the Gates match, that's about $600,000 for polio. And I want to say a couple things. And the first is that most of the money is actually not contributed by Rotarians. Other people have been making their donations. And it's really an area effort, so us all the way up to Cape Ann. And we'd love to show everybody the video of this year's Polar Plunge.
Sounds good to me. Roll it.
Going in for the first time. Much of a challenge this year. It's like 30-mile-an-hour wind. Water temperature's probably about 35, 40. That's not bad. We can't go in too far. The water's pretty rough. So this is Sarah.
Hi, Jess.
Jesse.
Good morning. On behalf of the Cape Ann Motor Inn, which is open all year round at reasonable rates, I want to welcome you to Gloucester. This is a great crowd, great crowd. District 7930 ought to be very proud of this. So anybody with a camera, come on up and take a quick picture. This is a group shot. Get as close together as possible. We'll sing the national anthem. Yeah. All right. If you could all join me in the national anthem. I'd like to introduce you to this year's president of the Gloucester Rotary Club, Carol Sharoff.
Hi everyone, thank you for braving the elements. Brad was here early this morning warming up the ocean, so you should be all fine. And I just, on behalf of the fabulous Gloucester Rotary Club, we're so grateful that you're all here, and polio is an important cause, and you're doing the right thing. I just do want to say that we want everyone who's going in to come out, so please be sure that you only go in with a buddy. Don't go past your knees, and be very, very careful. There's a riptide. So it's my pleasure to introduce David Manzi, our estimable district governor.
Thank you. And I want to thank sponsors. I want to thank Tracy and her committee for a tremendous event. I'm going to keep this short for about maybe 12 minutes. No, but I want to thank you all for making this out here. It's a tremendous, tremendous accomplishment. And I know Bruce will go over the totals, but I want to introduce our minority leader, State Senator Bruce Tarr. Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor Manzi. Is everyone having a good time so far? Are you eager to get into that water? All right. So I want you to know that we've been having a discussion up here. Governor Manzi wanted to wait till the snow started falling, but we wanted to make sure we got you home in time. And what about our great host, Brad Pierce? Brad has been boasting up here that he just had new air conditioning installed in the inn. So come on in and try it out when you're done. So here's a testament to how great all of you are and how generous people in our region are. District 7930 so far today for this event has raised $65,000. Now I'm only going to be speaking for a couple of minutes longer, but I'm going to give you as much hot air as I can. But get ready. Now is the time to start getting ready to go in the water. So I'm giving you the warning to get your bathing suit and get ready, because you've only got a couple of minutes till we do the countdown. I want to reiterate the safety issues. Make sure you swim with a buddy. Make sure you only go up to your knees, except Representative Jim Kelcourts with his scuba gear. You can go in deeper. And please stay in front of the inn only. So only in front of the inn, everybody. But let me just tell you what a wonderful group you are, what a wonderful organization Rotary is. You are proving today the motto of service above self. Everybody have a great swim, and let's get ready to do the countdown. You ready, right?
WCAT has been at our Polar Plunge for the past 5 years and is a major factor in making sure that we get that message out. So I have brought a certificate of appreciation for you and your team for all the support that you've given Polio Plus over the past 5 years, and not just financial contribution, but coming and taping it for us. So we really appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure. The staff and I really enjoy coming, and every time we do this, it's always a great experience.
Well, thank you for braving the cold, especially this year. And I just want to encourage all of your viewers, if you want more information, you can visit www.wakefieldrotaryclub.org/polio.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.